I take is with my gauge. I'm selling dope, but I can't live on fucking minimum wage. A young black man, now you know what that means, G. A hard life, and ain't nobody hiring me. Too black, too strong for this fucking little system, man. No Uncle Tom, so I'm fucking up that little plan. So fucking scared that I might just up and retaliate. You ask me why, should my heart be filled with hate? Motherfucker the past, talking about shit that's happening here today. I'm on my knees, oh Lord help me control this rage. I'm being teased like a beast locked within a cage. They're setting traps and almost kill me twice, you see. They won't feel safe till they got me hanging from a tree. I'm still running, but I got the Lord on my side. Political corner for my homies that have fought and died. Ain't nothing changed, I still live my life in fear. I ask you God, where do we go from here? From here?
What's up,
happening?
Man? What's happening?
Going on, baby?
T.O.G. and Barilla, man. Y'all already know.
Yeah,
How we
this
do?
what time it is.
Yes, sir.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? What's been going on with you?
Man, not much, man. My week been, I want to see how I want to put this. It's been fulfilling a little bit. We've been celebrating birthdays, anniversaries. We started with your anniversary.
Oh, yeah,
Then we started with the birthdays with the nieces and nephews.
Right.
And today is your sister.
Right.
Anniversary, right?
Yeah, 21 years.
21 years. Black love.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's there.
And so I can remember, I thought about it. I started laughing this morning. I said, man, I'm always bringing it back to me. I said, I started something. And when I started, we were the first to get married. And after that, all the homeboys started getting married.
You wasn't the first to get married.
No, I'm just
I
talking
was
about.
the first to get married.
No, I'm talking about
Okay.
in the crew. At that time, we had a crew.
Oh, okay.
And so it's always good to see longevity, right?
Yeah, I know.
I watched them, from the beginning. I was there.
You were scared to get married at first, man.
I really was.
You were scared to talk to Tanya, man.
No.
Man.
I told you I'm really a shy person. I'm a shy person for real, but
Tim, what you think I ought to do? What you talking about, man?
yeah, so
You do what you ought to do.
So yeah, man, it's I knew though. I knew at 21, 22 what I was finna do. I knew I was finna settle down.
Yeah, after they said you were gonna beat her up.
Yeah, go, man. Now, I ain't never hit a woman in my life, but all of a sudden I'm finna beat her up with her brother walking behind
You
me.
feel me?
Yeah, I'm finna really.
Both of us laughed on that.
Yeah,
Really?
Man, don't get out of here, Lindell. You, I'm like, girl, stop. So yeah, man, and plus, I stood on what I said. I stood on it. I went and voted. Told y'all I was gonna vote.
Okay.
Did it by probably about 8:30 that morning. So I did vote. Polls were looking bad though.
I mean, people got to grow up. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, until we start learning how important it is for us.
Yeah.
We sitting around talking about how you feel about somebody personally. Ain't nothing personal about this.
Yeah.
It's issues and it's answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I used to be like that. And I used to be one of them, man, that shit don't matter. And then so me and my wife were talking, and so we said, what we doing now is for our future of our kids. The decision we making now is for their future. And so it made me think different anyway. So yeah. So enough about me, man. How was your week?
Well, my week was vainglorious.
Vainglorious.
You feel me?
Talk about it.
Hey, man, listen. It's just been like you said, my anniversary was we've been celebrating. We got some more to do.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
many more.
Like we missed a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm talking about more.
Oh,
It's
more
my-
to do. Okay, got you.
Yeah. So man, really, personally, I've been great.
Okay.
But after the election, I was like, man, really?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this like, really?
I was up all night.
I'm talking about the turnout. You vote for who you want to vote
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
The people.
But
people
just the
speak.
turnout.
Just the turnout. I'm saying if the turnout had been better, what would have been the answers again?
Mm-hmm.
Who out there that didn't vote but have something to say? Because you can go in places and they gonna talk about they don't do this, they don't do that, but you don't vote.
Yeah.
You don't get involved. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of because, and then it's just me because I see the importance of it, but I do remember when I didn't.
Exactly.
So I get it, but if you don't start growing and evolving, it's just like I was telling the dude when I was used to get on the weight pad when I first started working out. I remember 185 used to do the doo-wop with me. I'm talking about do me.
Yeah.
But I didn't stop. You know what I'm saying? I made goals. Say if I can get 225, then 315, and 405, then 505. Let me try 525. Just going up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, when you get it, you don't even recognize what you went through to get there because the goal have been achieved.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But it took work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we act like sometimes we ain't got to work for nothing.
Well, you said it. You had a goal and you kept your eyes on the goal.
Right, but we as a people got goals. We got to set them.
Yeah,
and we got to come together
Yeah.
and reach them goals. But, you got to find a common ground. And it's not about any other people or whatever. It's about us finding common ground with us. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about in race, creed, or color. I'm talking about the human nature. What's right?
Gotcha.
It's right and wrong. It ain't black and white. It ain't anything that's right and wrong. What's right? Everybody should have a chance to live life like they want to without bothering or hurting anybody else.
Speaking of goals, I got somebody I want to introduce y'all, man. I'm this one close to me because I knew him and I watched him grow up. So I'm gonna introduce, man, Leonard Stephens, man. I want you to introduce yourself and tell him a little bit about you. You know what I'm saying?
What's going on there, everybody? I'm Leonard Stephens, but I go by Coach L. You hear Leonard Stephens, you probably just hear my mama calling my name, or Coach Lindell. But man, I'm a young black business owner.
Okay.
I'm on the Small Business Council for the city of Birmingham. I have a step-by-step foundation where we do things around the community, give back to the community, teaching athletes how to give back to the community, giving them the roadmap and the blueprint. Also, I'm involved in a lot of different organizations where we pretty much do the same thing to come bridge together and give our youth a better opportunity than what I had. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to hear you guys talk about, voting and the importance of it, because a lot of kids, most of the time, it's not that they don't want to, it's they don't understand or know who to vote for. And I think me growing up, I used to listen to what Granddaddy said until I got older, and I realized I had to make that choice of what I knew what was best.
Okay.
So I think a lot of that stems from that. But, like you said, it's understood, but it's still no excuse.
Exactly. There's no excuse. And then to have guys like yourself dedicated to bringing your community to the next level. I mean, it's hard work. And how do you stay motivated when you see stuff like this to keep going?
It's fairly easy to stay motivated. Just to be honest with you, when I first started, even when I played ball back at Eastlake, I had, men around me that showed me what it looked like to be a man, and at the same time, how to hold other young men accountable. And I think what was important for me is seeing that and being groomed by that. When I went off to college to play, when I was in high school playing ball, I was introduced to a different background that I wasn't used to. Just being honest with you, I grew up, and it was mostly African Americans around me.
Right.
So going to Hueytown High School gave me the experience I needed to understand people. You know what I'm saying?
The world dynamic.
Most definitely. Mm-hmm. And like you said, I've never been a person to look at anybody different based upon color or anything like that. So that's why I've been able to be successful at what I do. But being at Hueytown and evolving to Jacksonville State playing ball, when I tore my knee up, and I think it was 2010, a lot of people don't know it and probably should tell this story a little bit more because it probably motivate people. I don't even think Coach Lindell knew this, but I had surgery on my knee, and I had a clogged artery in my knee. And my heart actually stopped twice doing surgery. And when that heart stopped twice doing surgery, and they had to bring me back, I think I started surgery about 9 in the morning, and I didn't wake up about 6 o'clock that evening with patches on my chest, tube about this thick in my knee, and they was draining blood. And my mom and my granddad, who I've never seen cry, standing at the edge of the bed, dropping a tear. You know what I'm saying? And it helped me realize that if you don't have a solid group around you, it's a lot of things you may not bounce back from. And at the edge of that bed, just being honest with you, was my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time, and I think that was one of the most valuable things to me, that put her in a place in my heart where I was like, you know what, you got my back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And driving that forward, moving forward, it was tough to go back and play ball. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, my girlfriend at the time found out she was pregnant with my first son, and transitioning to that was like, all right, man, you can go back and play ball, or you can go be a dad to your son. You know what I'm saying? And my dad, we kick it hard now. You know what I'm saying? Because he's grown. But my granddad, wasn't a great dad to my father.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he did a great job of providing, but as far as the time and things like that,
Emotional.
yeah, some of those things weren't. It was I got that raw, hard nosed daddy. Like, nah, you ain't gonna cry, you ain't gonna do this, you ain't gonna do that.
I know your dad.
You know what I'm saying? And so if anybody out there listening, one thing I got is I know how to be professional, but I can get right with you because I learned that from him.
Right.
But
Go ahead.
Look, so I wanna go back.
Mhm.
I don't want to go too far with it before we get to what you do for real. Crestwood, Eastlake Day.
Mm-hmm.
You came out when you was 10, 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember when you came, you playing running back.
Mm-hmm.
But we was already stacked up at running back. And I told, if I'm not mistaken, I told James May, if I would have got him early, man, you would have, boy, look at him. And so when you played, you was fast and you can run hard.
Mm-hmm.
But you used to fumble.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I said, if he could just hold on that rock, he tough. And so, like I said, we had a full backfield when you came, and I wanted more time with you. And so I can remember when our last year, we had won the championship, and I said, I probably would never coach again because I knew y'all was a special group. And I said, I never get them type of guys no more. So I didn't really want to coach anymore. And I can remember pulling off in that championship game crying like I'd never see him, that type of guys again. And so I never saw you no more until I looked up and saw you playing for Hewitttown. And so when you playing in Hewitttown, was you there with Jameis Winston?
So my senior year, the funny part about it is Jameis Winston is the big star now.
Yeah.
At that time, I was the star player at Hewitttown, and he was a freshman quarterback. This little bro right there.
Got you. And I looked up and they said Leonard Stephens. I said, hold up. What, number 27?
Number 27, yep.
I said, dude, he played for me, right? Yep. So I was like, I was from then on, I followed you, and I called back up. You was at Coke. When I came to work at Coke, you was already at Coke. And I was like, okay. So moving forward, how did you come to what you're doing now?
That transition, like you said, from Hueytown to Jacksonville State, a lot of people don't understand how difficult it is to go from being a star athlete at your school to being dropped into that bowl again and realizing that, hey, you ain't just that guy. You know what I'm saying? There's other guys on this field. And that transition was a lot tougher than I thought because, just being honest with you, I was one of those first people in my intermediate family to go straight to college. You know what I'm saying? So going straight to college, it was it's difficult for you to have any kind of wisdom towards that when you don't have other people to say, hey, look, this is what it's going to be like. And honestly, with me being at the top of my game in high school or feeling like I was at the top of my game in high school, I didn't have nobody to tell me to do more because I was already producing better than everyone else. So through that, of course, I learned different experiences and things that make sense now. And transitioning to Jacksonville and tearing my ACL and my left knee. And then my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, getting pregnant with our first son. When I transitioned back, it was a guy named Ted Price. That was he's the defensive end coach at Texas A&M now. He was the tight end coach and recruiting coordinator at Auburn. So he called in. He was like, hey, man. He called a coach to one of his buddies. I think it was Dave that was the manager there at the time. And he was like, man, he's a big-time Auburn fan. When I tell him, I recruited you and all that, dude, we gonna get you a job. And I walked in, and he was like, hey, man, I know you. You played for Hueytown. He was like, you ain't even got to do an interview. I went in there with some khaki pants on, a bulky white button down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, man, you got the job.
Just
and
like
I was 21 years old. I was 20, and you can't drive the CDL truck till you're 21. So a couple months later, I turned 21. I got my CDL license because I had another guy that's a good friend of mine now. We were competing for a route. And if I didn't get my license, he was going to get that higher paying route than I was going to get. And, it's crazy. It's crazy now looking back on it because even then it was still competition for me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily competition to battle with anybody else, but a competition for me to prove to myself who I was. Because a lot of people don't understand that when you take that helmet off, you're an individual. You know what I'm saying? And I identified so long with just being a football player and being number 27. When you getting cheered on for years, it's number 27 or, L that can run that football. When you don't hear it anymore, then you start going, who am I?
After the lights.
After the lights. And it's crazy because just transitioning to that point, being an account manager there, sales rep, and doing stuff like that, it opened my eyes to I can talk to anybody. I got along with anybody, whether I'm in Eastlake, whether I'm in Alabaster. You know what I'm saying? I could relate to people. And I always knew I wanted to do something around kids. When I was growing up, I always wanted to be a pediatrician. And then before I tore my knee and realized that it was going to take 8 semesters to get my physical therapy undergrad, I was like, all right, I got to feed this mouth. I can't go to school at 8 to 5.
Right now.
You know, so I stuck with kinesiology and, transition working at T.O.G. I was like, man, I enjoy helping people. I enjoy doing things like that. But just being honest with you, and there's no knock on any, industry or whatever, what they have to do. But understanding that I was in our neighborhoods selling sodas, sugary drinks to our people and not also giving them an outlet or a choice to choose better or to do better, that bothered me because one thing about it is kids need direction. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm sitting at the store and I got a kid come in with 50 cents and he buying a 50 cent Fanta and they got 70 whatever, you know what I'm saying, grams of sugar in it, I'm like, dang, that's why this kid blowing up when I see him 6 months later.
Right.
This kid that was fast, now he obese. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when I looked at that, I was looking at my kids.
So let me ask you something. So you start thinking about healthy ways or healthy alternatives, healthy ways of looking at life. And once you got that, what was your decision after that?
Yeah, so most of it was geared towards, my heart stopping twice, doing surgery, and going through those things with Coke and seeing that. And once I transitioned from there, I was like, man, I got to do something. My wife kept fussing at me. She was like, you got to quit looking at the football games, yelling at the TV for no reason. She was like, you got to do something. And I was like, I don't want to coach because, you coach. I might be a good coach and the head coach might be bad and we all get fired.
Yeah.
And I wanted to coach my son. I said, man, I'm going to coach my son in sports when he's ready to play. He turned 3 years old. I started coaching him at the Y in Trustful. And when I started coaching him at the Y in Trustful, I had this core group of guys, like you said, a special group of guys. And at the Y, every year, you're supposed to change up and have different coaches so you get used to coached by different people.
Right.
And for 2 years, I had parents complaining, saying, if we ain't playing with Coach L, our kids ain't playing. And at first they let it ride, and then they realized none of the kids were signing up. And they said, well, Coach L, we'll make an exception. We'll let you keep your guys. And one of those core guys on that group, Eric Garrick, man, shout out Eric Garrick and his mom, Mia Garrick, man, Trey started training. His dad was like, man, can you train my son? And I was like, man, I can't train no kids. I'm working all these hours at Coke. I don't have time.
Right.
The day I told them I didn't have time, they called me in for a promotion. And when I got promoted, I had more time to train. And as I evolved in training and as the company grew, I was getting more promotions with Coke that relieved me of time having to be at work.
Right. And
I could be away from work to build a company. And I told myself, I was like, man, one Friday I was riding, and I always thought everything's about perfect time. I want a perfect time. I want enough money saved, this, and this. But I think I had $1,700 saved in that account. And that Friday, God told, hey, time to go.
Who told you?
God did.
Okay, then.
Just like that.
And it was like, it's time to go. And I was like, nah, it ain't. The account don't say that. And I called my wife, and I said, hey, it's time to go. And literally, if she had told me no, I would have stayed there. She said, it's time to go.
Okay.
And my OG coach, Otis, he always say, man, it's better to have a wife instead of a knife. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, she wasn't trying to put nothing in my back to hold me back. She was trying to push me forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what got me training with little Trey. And it transitioned from there to now Trey is still with me. He just turned 11 years old. We share the same birthday and everything, man.
So you've been doing it for, 11 years?
It's going on 7th year.
Okay.
7th year.
Wow.
So 7th year, 2 years, full-time away from Coca-Cola.
But, dude, look, you done had some big-time people come through this, though. I don't want to diminish this. You talking real humble with it. Like, you done been some places, met some of these top coaches.
Yeah.
Doing this process.
Yeah, I have. And it's so funny because I grew up majority of my life thinking that money was the goal.
Right.
But honestly now I look at it more like, man, I'd rather have access than money.
Exactly.
Because I've been in certain rooms where people that got plenty of money ain't trying to figure out how to pay me to get in the room. And I'm like, you got more money and more pull, I thought, than me. But I'm in this room, and a lot of it is because of the success of these players. And, man, just being honest with you, I used to train 4 kids. It's a school called Bryan Elementary in Clay.
Yeah, I know.
I was training kids on that front field before the school was ever built. And when I was training there for about a year, I would train at 3 different locations. And this particular day, me and my business partner had found a gym right off of Port Madrid, and I went back out there to do a session. And the construction guy came out of the Bobcat, and he was like, "Hey, Doc, you can't use the field anymore. We were supposed to build this school 2 years ago." He said, "But we're going to break ground today." So it was literally a guy waiting on me, giving me an opportunity to find another location, and then they broke ground in that school.
Say it then.
Man,
Call
you
it.
been ordained, dude.
Man, it's that's why most of the time, man, a lot of time, even if things are not right, numbers are not right, money's not right, if I hear him tell me to do it, I go ahead and do it.
So you saying you be obedient?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Being obedient is the key.
So how do you decipher from what it's saying to you through your spirit or ego?
So a lot of times, I think that ego gets in place whenever you battling back and forth. That's not him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When he tells you something, when you're being obedient and you're having a positive perspective, then I think you're able to hear him clear. You know what I'm saying? But when you got a negative mindset, or you like, nah, he wouldn't do this, he wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's already spoken, told you what he will and what he won't do. You know what I'm saying? So
let me ask you something again about since we talking about what the spirit do. Do you think he just put you in a cushiony place to start doing it? He give you the easy road.
No, if you look at it from East Lake Cowboys, when we got a loaded backfield with Jeremy Cox, J Rock, Deontay May, you know what I'm saying? When you got all the weapons like that, little man, that was adversity. You know what I'm saying? And just to be honest with you, I've been in the mud. And don't put me on level ground. Keep me in the mud. Yeah. Like if I got $100 million, keep me in the mud.
You work good in the dog.
I work good in the dog because that's where the blessings come from.
Bangs, baby, bangs.
You know what I'm saying? That facility that I got now, man, if y'all see what it look like, I got that facility that man said as is. So I'm going to give you this dope price, but it's as is. Had to scrape mold off the wall, seal up bricks, paint it by hand. You know, what is 6,300 square feet? Painted by hand, you know what I'm saying? And it just evolved over the years, did a little bit at a time. My mom bought the paint. My dad came in to help me paint. A couple homeboys came in to help me paint. And it transitioned from there, man. But it was all dark days.
But it's light now, baby.
Most
it's
definitely.
Light now.
Most definitely.
Look, man, so I can remember watching you. I can see I don't want to say angry. I can look back and see your face. It's like, Coach, just give me a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Passion.
I know it. I know it, but I knew eventually you're going to be great. You know what I'm saying? I knew it. I saw it in. I said, man, this dude really can run the ball.
So as you right now, he said that you have a lot of people you train. Give me some names. Let me hear about them.
Names. Coaches you done met and players you.
Well, I'll say a couple names, and I say these names because not because of who they are to the world, because not necessarily, and mostly because of who they are to me, dependable guys to me. And I say, you know, Alabama defensive tackle DJ Dale. He was one of the first big school kids I started training, and he trusted me when I ain't had nothing. I didn't have no agility bags. You know what I'm saying? I ain't have none of that high level flashy stuff. And he trusts my teaching. And he just trusts my push. And him giving me that opportunity, man, just unlocked a lot of other people earning that trust as well. And DJ Dale from Alabama. You got Cameron Sealman, top 10 safety in the country playing for Coach Prime down there at Jackson State.
Okay.
You got Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Okay.
You got Michael Lockhart up at West Virginia.
Yep.
You got my boy Jason Jones, defensive tackle down there at Auburn.
Okay.
Roydale Williams at Alabama. I mean, we got quite a few in we got quite a few in Tuscaloosa. I ain't gonna say too much. We got quite a few in Tuscaloosa. We got a couple. We got 3 down in Auburn now. We got 1 down at LSU. So I have 411 kids. God has blessed me to be able to help 411 kids to this day sign college scholarships in the last 6.5 years.
So let me ask you something. Are you by yourself, or do you have other trainers? You know, where your facility at? You know what I'm saying? What you look for when you accepting somebody to train, or what do you want them to do? I mean, how does that work?
So my facility is located off of Port Madrid, block up from Lawson Field. So when I came down to looking for a building, I found one in Pelham. and I wanted to open one up in Pelham, and then I started thinking. I said, hold on, man. I said, all my athletes in Pelham got cars. You know what I'm saying? All my athletes in Shelby County got cars. Not all of them, a majority of them. They got somebody to ride with. And I was like, hold on, man. My dad grew up in this neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things I saw in this neighborhood wasn't what I want my kids to grow up in. So what am I doing in this neighborhood to be a beacon of light? You know what I'm saying? So when I found that building, when we found it, my business partner found the building. He does fitness and I do sports training. When we found the building, I was like, man, this the spot. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's coming there. Even my wife, she was like, babe, you got to go where the money is. Babe, the money, no, they ain't going to pay over here. And I was like, look, I'm going to make them, I'm going to sell a product so good, they going to come to me.
Put a stamp
you know
on
what I'm
it,
saying?
Put a stamp on it.
And when I put in the work, man, and I'm passionate about the kids, I really wanted to do mentoring. But if I'd have put mentoring on top of that building, people would pass by it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But what I understood was I said, okay, if sports teach you all these lessons about life, I'm gonna utilize my experience through sports and my good and my bad that I experience in sports to be able to help motivate other kids and mentor kids. And man, when I took that approach, now it's to the point where we're in a training session. I'm Coach L. I'm on your head. I'm on your ass. I'm pushing you. You know what I'm saying? But off the field, off the court, I'm Uncle L. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of things that I probably didn't feel comfortable talking to my mom and my dad about. But if I had another positive male around, such as like my uncle, I would go to him and talk to him about things. Everybody doesn't have a village. And one thing I noticed was when I was growing up, you had a village to the point where it ain't had to be blood relation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If they knew your grandma, if they knew your mama, they could smack you upside the head and get you right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and just being real, a lot of the OGs are nervous to say something now because of how these young guys retaliate. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, if I can take sports and you respect me for what I teach you, then I can check you and you'll understand that I'm checking you because I care about you and not checking you because I'm trying to down you as an individual.
Y'all youngsters hear that? Just because you get corrected don't mean you getting disrespected. It does not mean that, you know, somebody trying to tear you down, because what looks like it's going to tear you down is really going to build you up because you learn how to think a little better, okay?
Yeah, tell them how old you are. Tell me your age.
Man, everybody think I'm old because I got an old soul, but I just turned 32 years old on October the 10th, man. So.
I know you young.
Man, I got to know your daddy because you
Hell is his daddy, Leonard, man.
You know Crazy Leonard.
Look, I'm finna make him know he be over your mom. He used to be, we call it 72. And he used to always come see your mom. Dark skin L, man, I'm telling you, man.
If you look at me, the dark skin version.
I tell you more, but I'll make you remember.
Okay.
Yeah, but his dad, Brown Springs. You know
yeah, I know, because all that's where we grew up at. And I'm trying to make sure I know where you are. You don't teach old men, do you?
So this the tricky part. First of all, you're not old, you seasoned. You know what I'm saying?
Say it again. Wait, let him say that again.
Yeah, you ain't old, you seasoned. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all hear that?
I ain't never seen grandma. I ain't never seen grandma sit up there and season something and then just throw it in the oven. She got to let it sit, marinate first.
Well, you made me want to pay you now.
You got really raised by grandparents, man.
Man, I was raised by the OGs. I tell people all the time, like, they were like, man, you old, so I was raised by the OGs. Like, I was around when, you know, shut up, you don't say nothing. But
you paid attention.
You saw stuff that you probably shouldn't have saw, but at the same time, now as an adult, you know what I'm saying, right or wrong what I saw, it helps me understand, like, how to carry myself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, I learned more from seeing bad than I did from seeing good. You know what I'm saying? But it was all about perspective, you know what I'm saying? If we change our perspective on how we look at things, a lot of things won't be bad, you know what I'm saying? Because I tell the kids all the time, you know, they get in there and they complain, I'm going to push you for an hour. You may get in there and complain, and you may, man, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that. But I got a group of them, I said, raise your hand if this is the hardest part of your day. And most of them raise their hand because I said, when you go home, most of you don't have chores. Even if you have chores, that's easy to do. Your mama feed you, your mama clothe you, your mama take you where you going, she going to cash up you some money. Cash up? We ain't had it. You better wait till mama get home from that second job. It's time to go home. Street lights on by then.
Boy.
You know what I'm saying?
It's so funny. I heard you say mama 3-4 times. Mm-hmm. Like, mama see about them.
Yeah.
Where the dads? Like, these guys don't be having fathers in their life. They're gonna look to you and be like, man, you was a father figure to me, you know, coming through.
And it's crazy because that you say that, because I have a lot of kids who don't have dad around, but I have a lot of kids who have great fathers around. But because of the disconnect of how society draws that picture of, oh, your dad old so he don't know nothing, and you young and he don't understand you, I'm able to bridge that gap because with me being in between those ages and me still being young and hip, and I wear the Air Max they wear, I wear some J's, you know, I got the tattoos to kind of connect with them, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where a lot of dads, just being honest with you, and I don't think these dads even be bothering me saying it because they respect me and I respect them and love them too, you know, but it's one of those things where a lot of dads, we can't parent our kids the same way we were parented. They're softer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And my athletes, they can get mad all they want to, but I tell them straight up, y'all nowhere near as tough as we were. No. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I think my group was the last one, and it may not even been my group. It may have just been me because who I was raised by.
Right.
You know, but a lot of kids that grow up now, you say something to them or you check them like you said, and they get emotional. You know what I'm saying? So
did you play with my son, Lil Tim?
Played up under.
Okay.
Tim the People.
Yeah,
Oh, 10 people played with him. He was with Marquise Mays and Bimbo. And
he played, all right, so he played 1 year ahead of them.
Okay.
So Lil Tim caught, I wouldn't even catch Lil Tim back then in East Lake, but we were 2 years up under Lil Tim.
Okay, got you.
He caught Marquise Mays on Marquise first year 135, Lil Tim second year.
Okay,
and see the way I look at it, I'm just sitting there thinking about because Tim is what 32 too, so 33.
Man, we went to school together.
Yeah,
we went to middle school
32.
together.
Yeah, so you know, and I wasn't there. You know, I went to prison. Okay, and I left, and he was 6 years old, and I came back. He was 24. So by you saying and talking like that, how many kids have you met that go through that you have to really?
I got about 6 kids who have dads that are incarcerated, and it's not just one race.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And it's difficult, you know what I'm saying, because that pressure, like certain people look at stuff as pressure, but I don't look at it as pressure. I look at it as an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these kids, they're looking at me and watching me and how I live my life, and that's teaching them how to do it. But at the same time, I'm the person I don't know what mom is saying at home or whoever's telling you about your dad, but I'm telling your dad all he did was made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you got to forgive him and still respect him as your father. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure he behind those walls thinking. And I guarantee you he ain't thinking about nothing else but you.
Exactly.
I
guarantee you that.
And a lot of the kids don't think that because a mistake that you may have made, you made that mistake when he was 6. You know what I'm saying? He was 6. You wasn't thinking, let me go do something to take me away from my son.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? And when they change their perspective on it and they look at it that way, then they're able to open up and understand that, hey, man, I got to forgive my dad because all he did was made a human mistake. We're all human. We can't – none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
We're going to make mistakes. And if these kids understand that, you know, you can make a mistake and still bounce back from it, you know what I'm saying, you'll be fine. Now, granted, we don't want you to jump off the deep end or do anything else, but that's why I try to we do like this bowling event. COVID kind of slowed it down. We're going to bring it back this year. Through my foundation, we do a bowling event, and we call it Boys to Men. But what we do is I bring the dads in and I bring the athletes in, but guess what? You can't bowl with your son. You got to bowl with somebody else's son. So typically what it does is it kind of teaches the dads a lesson of, you know, my little knucklehead just like that other knucklehead.
Yeah.
And then it teaches that kid that, hey, man, this another man that works hard like my dad and everything else, and he's going to try to teach me the same principles that my dad is teaching me. So now it's not, oh, my dad don't know nothing. If I hear it from somebody else, you know, like it is.
Right.
My mom and my dad told me plenty of things, but if Coach Lindell said it probably stuck different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why we operate that way. We just do.
You know, when it come down to that, it's because you think you know your parents because you're with them every day.
Most definitely.
And, you know, I know when I was growing up, I really didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? I really had to do a lot of stuff on my own. And I didn't want mine to have to do all that. So a lot of times, our father, I know me as a father, I held back a lot of things I should have gave him.
Yeah, we take that dog out of him.
You know, not to hold him back, but I knew what I was doing, and I didn't want him nowhere near this. So a lot of times the father had to back up. I know I had to back up just to keep him safe, basically.
I'll say this. I definitely understand where you're coming from, but I'll say this. Know your child, too, because that's you. And when you know your child, some things don't hide from, because honestly, as a father, I think the more you let them in on who you are and what you're going through and what's going on, for one, not only will they respect you different once they get older, because they're not going a young man never's going to understand it until you become a dad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I think letting them know what's going on, that's what I'm telling you, a lot of things that I saw, I was angry for years. But when I got to 24, 25, and I looked at my dad and spit it all out and told him why I was mad and angry and everything else, once I got it out, I was like, dang, hold on. I understood that. Dang, hold on. All right. I probably wouldn't have did that, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? And I think the more we try to tell our kids what's going on, tell them those experiences. Now, some things we got to go in there and me and my mama got to talk with the door closed and figure things out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if we let these kids actually see how we live our life in and out, we're better preparing them for the world. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, we hide it and then we wait till we get older. Guess what? Some of us may not be there when they get grown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if we're feeding this stuff into them now when they get older, and as they're getting older, they have that wisdom. We can't wait till they 21 to give them wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Because they're making those mistakes in between the age range of 13 and 24.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the biggest thing for me. I tell dads, be dad. And I think the unique part for me is they get to be dad and I get to be the butthole. I say, you know what? Let me choke him out. Let me grab him. Let me get in his grill. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you one instance. I got a kid, Jeremiah Beeman. He's at Parker High School, man. He's a 4-star, number 12 ranked defensive lineman in the country. Shout out to Parker, man. They got
some players.
They got some dogs over there.
They
got some dogs over there, man. And shout out Frank Warren, my boy. He was a running back at Pleasant Grove, and I was running back at Hueytown.
Okay. He the coach over there?
Yeah, he the head coach. Grambling State leading rusher, all-time leading rusher.
And say that name again.
Frank Warren.
Frank Warren. Okay.
He went in that school when nobody else wanted to be at Parker. And he stayed there when they was losing. Nobody wanted to wear that uniform, and now he's shining in it. Anybody that wants to hate on that, that's a problem. You know, but I got that kid, and Jeremiah's dad, Eric Beeman, he played at Carver. He's out of Collegeville with my grandparents, and man, he came to me one day, and he was on his son. He was just on his head. And this joker big now. This joker about 6'6.5", about 400 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Now his son, when he brought him to me, March of 2021. He was like 6'3", 265. I said, man, you too big. I'm finna shred you down. That's baby fat. You know what I'm saying? Dad was like, man, ain't nothing wrong with my boy. This and this. But while we in the training, said his daddy barking. Hey, JB, do this. Hey, do this. I said, man, he'll never be able to learn how to listen to anyone else if he only hears your voice. Man, I ain't never let nobody tell me nothing about my child. I said, Big E, let me holler at you. Come in my office, let me holler at you. Now, granted, you gotta have some guts. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, growing up the way I did, running around Gay City and stuff, I ain't really scared of too much. You know what I'm saying? You know, my kids getting sick, I get a little nervous. That's about it. You know, outside of that. But I said, man, let me holler at you. I said, do me a favor. I said, I understand you don't let nobody tell your son that. I said, but do me a favor. I said, today, don't say anything negative to him. I said, let me get on him and ride him. And when you leave, you just be dad. Take him to get something to eat, ask him how his day was, something like that. Man, I chewed him out in that session. His dad up there sweating. I had to give him something to drink. I said, hey, man, I got a little button when they buzz the door to open the door. I said, just worry about opening the door today. All right, keep me with a snack and a drink. And I keep. Man, he got done with that session. That kid he listened to me because the label. My label is trainer.
All right.
So in the kid's head, I'm supposed to fuss. I'm supposed to push. In kid's head, dad, love me, take care of me, not fuss, be proud. Ain't nowhere in that fuss or push or make me upset. You know what I'm saying? And kids get connected to the labels. And, man, when I got done, that kid walked out. His dad was like, come on, JB, let's go get something to eat. That boy, you saw teeth in that boy's mouth you ain't never seen before. Yeah. And he turned around and he looked at me. He said, from now on, that's your problem. He said, I'm going to feed him. I'm going to take care of him. He said, but that's your child.
You got it.
And to this point, I told that kid, March 2021, I looked him in his face and looked at dad in his face. I said, I'm going to turn your son into one of the best players, best defensive linemen in the country. I told him that out of my mouth. And literally to this day, he listened to everything I told him. That boy with me every day except game day. Okay. He was coming up here with me, but he was like, Coach, he got to go up to Tennessee for a visit this weekend, taking his little girlfriend with him. So he's like, Coach, I want to get an outfit. I said, go get your outfit. I said, but tomorrow we're going to double up.
I ain't classified.
He's a junior, man. Okay. He's 2024. It's a blessing, man. Right now we have, in the class of 2023, we have one of the top prospects in the country. Class of 2024, I actually train and mentor three, I think it's 3 or 4. No, it's 4 5. It's 5 2024 kids that are top 100 kids. In class of 2025, I got a kid that's ranked number 2 athlete in the country at Parker. You know, all I'm waiting for now, give me a little 9th grader to go and bust out there and make some shake.
So this all in Alabama, right?
All in Alabama, man. I actually, the unique thing is I have a kid from Michigan. And, you know, quick little story on that. I sent the message to Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, my favorite basketball player all the time. I sent him a message when I was younger, and he never responded. And I told myself, I said, no matter how I grow, no matter who I was going to be, because, of course, NFL dream. I said, no matter who I am, what stance I'm in, whatever stage I'm on, I always make sure I respond to people. And this random kid, Ethan Carter, sent me a message on Instagram and was like, hey, Coach, I'd love to come work with you one day. I'm a big-time Bama fan because I trained a lot of Bama players. And, man, this kid, dad, drove 12 hours and brought him down here 2 years ago. Now this kid comes down every 3 months. His dad brings him down every 3 months to train with me. And we have 3 kids out of Georgia. One of the kids out of Georgia is the number 1 ranked defensive lineman in Georgia. Now, me as a running back coach, I don't know how I got blessed to be able to be a D-line whisperer, but we got 42 Power 5 defensive linemen playing ball.
Got that dog.
I know how you got to be. You avoided them. So if you know how to avoid them, you know how to make them hit you.
I agree.
I remember playing football. And we had a thing where I played every position. It didn't. So I learned a lot of position, and then the harder the position is in the man.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So once you show him what he can do and who he is, he'll perform for you.
Most definitely.
And basically performing for himself because he got that dream. It seemed to me like you ignite the dream in these guys.
Most definitely. And a lot of times it's about belief. And like I said, you may not, mama may not know the perfect thing. Of course, when mama tell you good job, I love you, in your head, that's what mama's supposed to do.
Exactly.
Daddy say, proud of you, you can be the best you want to be, man. You talking about what little Johnny daddy saying. You know what I'm saying? But when you're hearing it from somebody else who's had an experience with other phenomenal players and top athletes, that's why it's unique about being in that facility, man. I put pictures of every kid that signs a scholarship. I put a picture up on the wall. I don't put it up to glorify them. I put it up for every 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 10-year-old, 16-year-old to walk through there to say, hey, Kool-Aid McKinstry went to Pinson. I go to Pinson. That means I can do it. You know what I'm saying? DJ Dale went to Clay. I can do it. You know what I'm saying? Rodale Williams went to Hueytown like Coach L did. We can do it. And seeing that, my brother, you know what I'm saying? My brother is signed with Jacksonville State, and he's a freshman at Jacksonville State now. And he won my number and all that in high school at Hueytown. And it's just unique to be able to see how just seeing somebody that wore the same uniform as you, motivating you enough to understand that, guess what, this hard work he talking about putting in ain't fun, but it's going to be worth it in the end. And, being able to knock that fire in kids, man, seeing a kid go from, it's not even to go from a no-name to somebody because everybody's somebody, but to see a kid go from no offers to an offer or to an opportunity, because for me it's not no offer to an offer, it's no offer to an opportunity.
Exactly.
Because the goal is to play at the next level. So when kids say we slept on, but you got 3 offers, you ain't slept on. You sleeping on your opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Because
listen now.
If you got Miles and Tuskegee and you mad because you ain't got Bama and Auburn, that just means it's meant for you to go there.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that you're not good enough to play somewhere else, but that's where you're meant to go. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody got to be the first person to go to the league from Miles. Somebody got to be the first person to go to the league from UAB. Somebody had to do it. So why not it be you? You know what I'm saying? And I tell the kids all the time, why not you?
Let me ask you something about school. How do you get them to make sure they involved in their schoolwork, education, respectful at home? You know what I'm saying? Do they have things that they have to do dealing with you?
Yeah, so you have things you have to maintain with me. So I check grades every 4 weeks.
Okay.
So every 9 weeks, report card come out. And nowadays, technology is great.
Ain't man. They can't even hide it.
You can't tell me you ain't got the progress report because I tell your mama to pull up your little app. And when she pull up that app, you're going to get plate pushes or you're going to back crawl. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to do wall sits. So it's one of those things. I got about 40 yards worth of turf in there. So you do these plate pushes or these body rolls, I guarantee you them grades will go up. You know what I'm saying? So holding them accountable with their grades. And then I got like a system that I do. So guys that qualify, they're in the green. Guys that are on the fence, they're in the yellow. Guys that are non-qualifiers, GPA-wise, are in the red. So my thing is you want to be praised in front of your peers, you got to be punished in front of your peers too. I can't clap for you when you win the championship and you the MVP, But then when you're not doing your grades, I punish you in silence or in quiet.
I don't want
You know what
nobody
I'm
to
saying?
know.
Like you got to understand that for one, when kids walk in and they know, hey, that boy he number 12 in the country and he got 3.8. I got a 1.7. Get what you gonna try to do? You're gonna try to get that 3.8.
Yeah.
And being able to do it that way, it may not be it may be frowned upon by certain people, but it's different methods for different people.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And those methods have turned plenty of success. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to grades, when it comes to holding them accountable, my thing is I ask them simple stuff all the time. Like we might have a scripture of the week, we may have a word of the week, and we have one thing, we break it down on family, but we always say hard work, success, and excellence. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is by them coming to training 2-3 days a week and we repeating that in their head, anything that they're trying to do, they're putting in hard work, discipline, success.
You give them the blueprint.
You know what I'm saying? And giving them words to actually put with things when they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? So throughout mentoring them and things like that, the way that I know it's working, the city of Birmingham gave me an opportunity to do a camp called the Magic City Showcase a year ago, and then we did it for the second year this year. And Councilman Clint, shout out to Councilman Clint Woods, they're going to allow me to do this every year that I want to do it until I said I want to. And being able to do this, my thing was when I was getting recruited, we had to go to different cities. You know what I'm saying? And my mama couldn't afford it for real, but she was making it happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But being able to bring top coaches to the city to see these kids in these combines and give 400 to 500 kids opportunity to sign scholarships. I think in 2 years we've had 191 kids sign scholarships from this combine. You know what I'm saying? Some of these kids I work with, some of them I don't. You know what I'm saying? But being able to do that, man, when it comes to the college coaches, having the connections with, you know, me and Freddie Roach from the University of Alabama, we kick it all the time when he in the city. You know, he recruiting players. He going to come by and holler at me. Coach, this past spring we had 46 coaches stop by. We had Brent Venables, the head coach of Oklahoma, come fly in. We've had Alabama, Auburn, Jacksonville State, UNA. We had USC fly in. We had Mario Cristobal come in. We've had what's the coach name from Oregon? We had the running back coach from Prattville, Coach Locke, come in. Memphis, my boy Cole Pope played with me down at Jacksonville. Tennessee wide receiver coach Kelsey Pope come in. And a lot of these coaches, what's unique is a lot of these coaches are from the city or from the state.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where in college football, they try to say, oh, and you know, in this culture, we don't stick together.
Right.
But one thing about it, sports connects everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've met so many people through the connection of sports. But one thing I do is I'm honest. I tell these coaches if a kid is not doing his schoolwork or something like that, for one, I won't even tell that kid's name to the coach. For one, I'm not going to burn that kid. I'm going to make sure he has his grades up. So I have a system. I'm going to make sure his grades up. I'm going to make sure he's doing what he's supposed to do at home. I'm going to make sure he's training like he's supposed to be. So now when I go tell, hey, Freddie Roach, come offer this kid. Now
he know you the full package.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And being able to be honest with these coaches over the years and being able to build that trust. For one, you don't want to go home and explain to your wife why you go from eating steak every day to ravioli. You know what I'm saying? So if you make it 750 whatever thousand a year, you need some people that you could trust, boots on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had coaching opportunities where college coaches like, you want to come coach high school? I said, nah, I'd rather be boots on the ground. Because if I stop doing what I'm doing, who's going to fill the gap? And there's other people that are filling that gap, but at the same time, I can't depend on somebody else to fill the gap the way I know it needs to be filled. You know what I'm saying? Because some people had the 2-parent household. Some people had the full ride scholarship to a school. Some people had a clean 4-year, career.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some people didn't have the failures and hit the roadblocks that I hit to be able to teach these kids these things. And everything I experienced from my relationship to my father, the situation through football, tearing up my knee, my heart stopping twice doing surgery, all of those things make sense now because when a kid come in, it ain't nothing he can tell me that I can't help him face.
Listen.
You better talk.
Listen.
So
Look, you know, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. And I'm going to give you your flowers now. Now, I'm going to tell you what I was most proud of. I ain't even told you. So when I called you, you know, I reached out to you and like, hey, you want to come? Can you come on the set? You're like, Coach, I just tore my ACL.
Again?
I told my right knee I got the brace on right now. I'm sick.
You left me in college.
My left knee in college. I told his right one training.
Okay.
You tore his ACL. He ahead of schedule. He's still just getting out of surgery. How long ago?
I had surgery 3 weeks ago.
Man.
Off of ACL now. And
ACL and meniscus.
so I'm telling him, I said, okay, so when you get well, just hit me up. He said, well, coach, I'm moving a little faster. You know, I'm already training, you know what I'm saying, doing
So you take what you take and give them, you engulf it too.
So I've actually been able to help 32 kids bounce back from ACL surgeries quick. Now, granted, we have fantastic doctors around the city. We have fantastic physical therapists, and all I've done is one of my best friends is an occupational therapist. Another one is a PT, and my mentor, Dr. Powers, is Spain Rehab. A lot of times when I do training, I add prehab in it. I don't just do regular training. And no, we're going to do prehab. I want to prevent you. Best availability is availability. You know what I'm saying? And being able to do that, you know, I've had kids go to therapy for 8 months. And in therapy, sometimes I'm going through it myself. Sometimes you're doing stuff and it's easy. And if you say it's a little hard, they're going to transition it back to something easy. But if you're an athlete, you have to push your body. You're used to pushing your body. So if you're going light on your body, that's not what it's used to.
Man, I'm ready to train with you right now. Get back in my thing.
So, man, being able to push them to that, man, I've been able to help those kids. And Huffman running back, I had him for a month. He bounced back and was ready for the season opener. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, it's not me. I'm praying over this stuff before I do it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Let me. Do you have how many on the staff? How many trainers do you have?
So on my staff, I got Coach Dimitri Diazmore. That's my baseball specialist. I got Coach Kirsten Gray. He's my other baseball specialist. We're trying to grow baseball as well. Being able to show kids that, hey, you can play baseball, and we have high level training from 2 guys that played it and coached it. We have Coach Haston Coates, that's our O-line specialist. We have Coach DeMarcus Diazmore. He's my DB specialist. And I got 2 guys that come in and help us as well, too, that are coaching in high school. But what we do is, man, a lot of guys that I have in there are young guys. And what I noticed is, and this is the first time probably they'll hear me say it because I'll be on their head, but, man, I didn't want any older guys that were my age.
But, brother, you're not old.
Well,
at all.
You're right, but the guys I got in there, I think the oldest one is 26.
But you're getting them ready.
But what I'm doing is, and I didn't even realize it until I went out with my surgery, not only am I mentoring and developing the athletes, I'm mentoring and developing young men. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And when I understood that responsibility, the day before I had surgery, I had a talk with him, and I said, hey, man, I don't know if y'all understand this or how to process it. I said, but y'all got to be here for me like I've been here for y'all. You know what I'm saying? And when I was looking at each one of them in their face, I was like, they don't get it. But I gotta teach this to them now because 2 of them are young fathers. You know what I'm saying? At 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, if I'm not, I can't call your daddy when something go wrong. I'm a father. I got to check it with you right then and there. Right. You might not like it. You might not, if I say be on time, stop being late, you may not like it. But I know for a fact I done put you on the news. I don't go on the news by myself. I put them on there with me. The only reason they not here with me now is because they had other things, you know, that they were attending to. Yeah. But I try to make sure I put them in position. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because when I got started, nobody put me in position. Nobody tried to help me. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is to be able to help those young men get a level up and start in a platform where I didn't have to, where I didn't get an opportunity to start it. Is helping them, but I also realized over the last couple of weeks, I'm hurting them too. Because like I told you, I like the mud. So sometimes I have to create scenarios like I did tonight and leave them in the mud. I took 2 of my trainers, one of them been there with me for about 2 years now, and the other one's been there since this summer. I said, hey man, here's the list of exercises. We got 3 different groups coming in. Boom, handle it. And the thing was, he was like, I got you. Like now, granted, the thing was, I was looking for him to say, I don't, you know what I'm saying? But I knew he could handle it. But you got to throw them in the fire sometime. Like we had to be thrown in the fire.
Ain't no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So throwing him in that fire, helping him figure it out is going to help him, you know what I'm saying, get that confidence up and become a better trainer. You know, so it's not about just developing these young men. It's about developing, you know, these other young men and being able to develop fathers too, because I'm getting practice on being a father every day. That's what helped me be a better father. You know, so it may be a dad who got 5 kids and he older than me, but at the same time, you can't tell me about 16-year-olds. We can talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm dealing with over 500 of them a week. You know what I'm saying? So when we talking about 16-year-olds, now we're able to have a more balanced conversation because I'm the guy within.
So do you have boot camps?
Yeah, so we have boot camp classes there as well. We have a lunchtime boot camp from 12 to 1 And then my business partner, he does fitness boot camps that he's starting back up in December.
Okay.
Yeah. So look, check this out. So you said DJ Dale was your first.
He was that first big time athlete.
So DJ about to go to pro, right?
Yeah, DJ is finishing up his senior year.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to had an opportunity to go to the league.
That's gonna be your first one.
So he won't be. He will literally be the first kid that I've trained for all 4 years of college and go to the NFL. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, gotcha.
So and I think that what's so crazy is I don't even look at DJ as that guy as that. I don't look at him like the world does. DJ Dale Ultimate is.
Yeah.
I look at him, man. He's a bright young man.
Yeah.
He went to school early. He already got his degree.
Yeah,
He finna finish his master's in a year in December. You know what I'm saying? So before he even finishes 4 years of college, he already has his master's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think the unique thing about that is not only a shout out to his parents, you know what I'm saying, because they laid the foundation. Your parents laid the foundation.
Exactly.
His parents laid the foundation, but for him to continue to work out that plan and stay dedicated to it when mom and dad is not necessarily right there holding your hand, man, that's a strong young man. And when I talk to him, I feel like I'm talking to somebody my age.
Well, DJ, let me give you a hand for doing that, man.
most
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because if you stayed the course, even without somebody watching, because it used to be a thing, say do the right thing when nobody watching.
See, my daughter, our daughter know DJ Dale, right, baby? Or is his fiance? You remember the guy that played Alabama? Yeah,
Lexi.
Our daughter. She actually, his wife or fiance sell the oil for the
She
rocks.
does. So
We buy
Lexi,
from
shout out Lexi.
Yeah.
Lexi, man, it's funny because Lexi, she was vetting me trying to figure out if I'm really for DJ, and I was vetting her like, look,
Is
hey,
you
I'm
for
trying to
you
make
for
sure-
DJ?
Look, this little bro, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, I love her to death, man, and we text in a group chat all the time. She talked to my wife.
Okay.
Man, when I FaceTime, we FaceTime probably about 4 or 5 times a week, and Lexi in the background, what's up, Coach L? We was messing with her yesterday because she designed an outfit every she fly every week for him, and she got something with his number on it. You know what I'm saying? And she'll send it to me. She'll be like, hey, is this corny? Is this fire? And I'm like, it's fire. You got it. You got it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to that, man, because seeing that at a young age, you know what I'm saying, and them really love each other and care about each other, we were scared. You know I was. I can't speak for her, but I was scared. I was like, man, hold on. I don't want him to be unfocused. But, man, when she said we wrote down our goals together, nah, DJ, you Coach L, this summer, he going to be with you this many days. Tell me how many days he need to come, and I'm going to make sure he there. She ain't about him going to the league.
Yeah.
She only want him to go to the league because he want to go to the league.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She got her own stuff going for herself, but she like, if you want these goals and accomplish these goals, I got goals I want to accomplish. And if you ain't trying to do nothing with your life, I don't want to be with you.
I mean, you need that. I mean, a lot of young men, want to try to make everything go their way.
Most definitely.
And when you have a significant other that tells you something, it's hard for them to listen. But in all actuality, if somebody's really for you, listen.
Most definitely.
Because they ain't not doing anything to hurt you.
Most definitely.
You know, as a team, I was talking to this guy today because I do mentoring with guys that go through adverse situations like I did. And when this one guy named was James Brown, I told him, look out now. You know what I'm saying? Down to people think, here you, they're mine. So I'm messing with him, right? And he was like, man, I got my girl. I said, now look. He said, I got to do this. I said, look what God did for you. He gave you a helpmate, but he also gave you responsibility. Mm-hmm. So that helps you stand on your feet because you got that responsibility because this person is with you. Mm-hmm. They're not there to take care of you. They're there for y'all to work together. And once you come up with those answers and understand, as a man, I got to do this. I have a responsibility not only to me, but to the people that's around me that love and want to see me do better.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
So I got a question for you. So I know you travel. You go to some of the guys' games and everything.
A lot of them.
So check this out. So how do you, because you say you got 3 children, your oldest is 10 or 11 years old, right? Mm-hmm. How do you kind of balance that time?
So the most difficult thing this whole throughout this whole experience has been balancing family.
Yeah.
And just being honest with you. And, for one, I think the more people get to see the inside of Coach L instead of the hard shell, then they understand my purpose and why I had a drive I do. I was failing. I was trying to build a brand, build a business, and I was missing a lot of times. I would, you know, when I was at Coke, I would leave early in the morning, never been able to take them to school, you know what I'm saying? But then not even off early enough to pick them up, you know what I'm saying? And over the past 2 years, when COVID cleared up and the kids got back in school, man, and I was taking my 10-year-old to school, and man, I'm riding the car. Me and him don't even know what to say to each other because we like, this is unfamiliar territory. You know what I'm saying? But Ashley told my wife. Ashley said, she said when you leave Coke, she said I know you. You're gonna try to go full fledged. And the thing was, I thought she was just trying to be selfish and wanted more time for her. She was trying to protect me from burning myself out. And she was like, hey, no training in the morning time. Keep your 12 o'clock session that you got with fitness, and then you train from 12 to 8. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, you tripping, babe. Like, you know, I can make a couple more bands if I do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at numbers because in my head, you take care of a woman by buying the car, buying the house, and I realized to myself,
you take care of by listening
and spending time. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I did commit to was, I haven't done that. I haven't did any training session in the morning. I might have a meeting or something in the morning, and stuff like that. But currently today, like this morning, got up this morning, she made breakfast. You know, we sat down and watched TV, you know, dropped off the kids. I'm able to help her drop off the kids. You know, so when I'm dropping off kids and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's all it took for you to make breakfast? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to drop off the kids again tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, like I gave the kids some chores to do. I washed the dishes. Oh, snap, you want to go on a date? What? That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? And I failed at it. You know what I'm saying? And I failed at it because I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I've seen two successful marriages up close, and that's my granddad and my step grandmother, and my mom and my stepfather. They got married when I was in middle school, and those are the two successful marriages I saw. But a lot of times, like I said, parents hide what's going on from the kids. You know what I'm saying? But I don't use the word trying. I'm doing a better job of being there for my kids. We teaching, we learning stuff. We got these little Spanish words and stuff we do. You know what I'm saying? So when I go home, I hand the remote, gracias, de nada. You know what I'm saying? We're doing little basic stuff. And when I got my 4-year-old doing that, and my 5-year-old, my 10-year-old, man, it's just those things now where I'm like, okay, let me get up. I can't be there in the evening because I'm at the gym. So let me get up in the morning and I make breakfast. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Don't depend on Ashley just to do it all. Now that I make breakfast, now the kids go, when I get older, well, Dad used to make breakfast every morning. Dad watched me get on the bus. Dad watched me, you know, he took me to daycare. He took me to kindergarten. You know what I'm saying? So I try to make sure I'm there for those experiences. Ashley just texted me. She was like, hey, next Friday, block it out. We're going to eat lunch with Lathan at his school. Bet, I'm blocking out the schedule. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's helping.
Yeah, well, we that's important because we went to lunch for my nephew at his school and that was like, and he was like, he saw us, and then what I saw was the other little boys and little kids saw me, and they was like, you know, it was just like, and I'm like, man, kids really be attentive.
That's priceless.
They really paying.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I'm sitting there with 4 little kids. I don't know, but this one. But I'm like, okay, y'all get in line. They playing. I'm like, what the hell, you know? But it's nice.
They want to be held accountable.
Exactly.
And the reason I asked you that, because I can remember when I was coaching, you put a lot of time into it. And so we started having kids, and I remember you know, when I stopped coaching, people always ask me, man, you gonna come back and coach? I'm like, no. I told, because I believe in family. So I want to be there. And so I give up anything to be my family, right? I give up anything. And so that's why I asked you that. I know starting a business and running a business take a lot of time.
A lot.
And you got an older guy. You got a 10-year-old man, right, that's growing up. And you don't want to take away, you know, because he'll mess around and be 18 and be like, you know, you were there, but you wasn't now.
That's the problem. I mean, he's about to turn 10. He's about to turn 11, and that's where I've been. I've been in that situation where I'm trying to make up for lost time now.
Okay, it's getting toward the end. You got a number? You got anything any rates? Do you want to know anything? The name? Give us your whole business spiel so people can hear.
The business is Step by Step Sports Training. You can find it on Facebook at Step by Step Training. You can find it on Twitter at Coach L __ on Instagram step-by-step _ sports training. I train kids ages 5 and up, adults. Even if you've never played a sport, you're still an athlete. Let me come teach you how to be one. So we work with all ages. We have 6933 of Porto Madrid Boulevard South in Birmingham. We do a lot of things around the city. If you type in hashtag step by step, you'll see it.
You got ARPP rates?
So yeah.
ARPP, what it is? Oh, well, what? You know who I'm talking about.
Well, one thing about it is we'll meet you where you are.
Okay. What days? What's your days?
So I actually train Monday through Thursday. On Fridays, it's called support day. I'm supporting the high school kids. On Saturdays and Sundays, we're training. If I'm not there training, I'm on the road at one of the college games. My staff is there training for me.
Gotcha.
Okay, man. It was man. Hey, look, I am very impressed.
I told you.
I am.
It's hard to
I
press
mean,
something.
I'm talking about. It's very hard.
I appreciate y'all having me on.
All right, thank you, man.
Appreciate you. That's what I'm saying.